Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Before you listen to this episode, go over to Instagram and please follow us at Carissa and Jason, and then hop straight over to YouTube and subscribe to us at Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. We appreciate your support and we hope you enjoy this episode. And we are now recording sound.
All right, I'll record sound with you too. Then.
Okay. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Carissa and Jason.
So we just got into it like that.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We're here.
Did the sound check go in there too?
Yeah.
All right.
We're good.
Let's roll.
We're good. This is our first time, hopefully, recording video. If video never gets released, that just means that we really can't figure it out.
Supposed to do video. Yeah, that's it. That's all.
It's just not aligned.
Yeah.
Have you been?
I've been good.
Yeah.
I've been good. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Good. Great. That's lovely to hear.
I mean, what else am I going to say? I can't say I've been bad because I've been talking to people who have it bad. So I can't say I have it bad. Okay. So I guess I'm good.
That's fair. But, it's hard to come to that reality sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, when you're just in a pissy mood, you're like, okay, well, at least I have my legs.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it.
It's just, what though? It's just good to practice that way of thinking.
I agree.
You're allowed to be in your shit. You can be in it.
Yeah.
But it's good to practice that mentality just so that you keep things in perspective along the line, right?
Yeah.
Along the way, I mean.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
I've been good. I've been feeling kind of what we're going to get into talking today. Just when you almost just feel a bit depleted.
Yeah.
I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
You just feel okay, I need to be charged up, or I need some green juices in my life.
Yeah.
Green juices and some God in my life. Yeah. That's how I've been feeling.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
I think you're in the right spot then.
Yeah, definitely for where we are today. Yeah. Today we want to talk about just what happens when you're feeling weak, or not what happens, but maybe, I don't know, just chat in and around the subject of being down, feeling weak, feeling like you have no energy, nothing to give, or maybe just a negative mind space. Talk about talk about with you how you feel almost. I wouldn't say you're in a negative mind space now, but you're in you're not in the most positive mind state you've ever been in. And for you, you're always on this super high that nobody else is ever on.
Yeah.
Everybody else has these up and down roller coasters, but you is just consistent high.
Yeah.
So now that you've gone down just a little tad, what's that for you? Because I know there are some people that maybe not on the same level as you, but might experience a little dip in their life, and they just don't know how to deal with it at all. They're beside themselves when something changes that they're just so used to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right off the bat, when you get to that point, you automatically can guarantee yourself that it's just going to be a domino effect after that.
Make your face the microphone.
So, can you hear me now?
I mean, I can hear you, but it's just you're talking into the air.
Oh,
the
sorry.
microphone is directly in front of you.
I actually forgot we were doing a podcast, to be honest with you. I actually thought it was just me and you sitting here talking. I zoned out there. That's really? What just happened just now. Yeah. So, all right. So let's put some context behind it.
Okay.
So you already mentioned it. I'm pretty upbeat all the time. I'm pretty, I'm on a high. I've been on a 17-year high. And recently I'm not feeling like myself. Yeah. Right. So when I was explaining it to you off air, when you asked me how I was, and I'm like, I'm good, but those aren't words that normally come out of my mouth. Yeah. So anyway, I've just been in a place where I've just started to question everything now. I'm having a moment of that. When I say I'm in a place, I'm going to be out of this quick time in a hurry. Yeah. But this is where I've been for the last week-ish, I guess. So this is where I am now. I feel I don't want to say defeated, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm just exhausted. Maybe it's because I haven't had a vacation yet this year.
I'm literally feeling the same. First world problems.
Yeah, well,
like,
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
So again, when you ask me how I am, how do I say I'm bad when I'm talking about, because I haven't had a vacation?
I've been to the Dominican this
right,
year, guys.
yeah. So I actually should have left that part out of it. But, you know, there's a few things I talked to my wife about it last night. I mentioned to you where for the first time I'm talking to her about what's on my mind, and she's looking at me like, when I told her I wanted to tell her what's on my mind, she looked at me like I had 4 heads.
That's a scary thing to tell someone.
Yeah, and especially when I don't do it, like when I've never done it before, right?
Okay, yeah, so she was probably terrified.
I guess I never looked at it that way. You know, so I'm thinking about things I don't normally think about. I'm thinking about what's going to happen in the near future. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about where I think society is going to be in the next little while, and that's a little, daunting.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my health right now for the first time in a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about finances. I'm thinking about my journey with God right now. I'm on this forgiveness journey, as you know, and people know, and I'm thinking about, am I doing it right? Am I going to know what it feels like when I have finally gotten to where I need to go to?
Yeah.
These are things that every day would come up, but I don't spend time thinking about it because I just know everything's going to be all right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now I'm spending time thinking about it, and this is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So even for myself, I don't feel normal because I'm in a place where I am not normally. Mm-hmm. But the messed up thing about it is that I know I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to be right back to normal again, like, tomorrow. Exaggerating, but not exaggerating.
Yeah. For you, probably. Yeah. For most people, maybe a couple weeks or whatever. But I think that's actually like me today. I was just in this kind of like fog. Just one of those days where just everything is just making you mad. No, you probably don't have these days. But
yeah, no, I do have those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just having just one of those days where I'm just like, okay, like what's my problem, right? And then as I was in the car actually driving here to record, I kind of had like a moment where I'm like, okay, don't act on like what you're feeling right now, because what you're feeling right now is temporary. I think why we get so caught up in these moments, like when we're in a down place, whether it be like anger or sadness or whatever, is we think it's like permanent. Like we can't get out of this headspace that like, okay, wait, like this is maybe like a week or a month or whatever the deal is, right? For some certain people, even if it lasts a year, it's still not permanent, right? So we then act out of these like this place of almost like fear that like this is permanent. So that's where I feel like I noticed this change within myself today for like the very first time ever. I was like, oh my God, I'm growing up. Like, who am I? But like stuff was like making me mad, and it was like really little things, but I'm like, I'm just not going to say anything. And then I realized after, I'm like, wow, like, I know that this like bad mood is like, it's going to lift by tomorrow, because it's just one of those like just silly, like crabby moods. Right. And like, if I had acted today on that crabby mood, the mood would have been done tomorrow, but the consequences of it wouldn't have been.
Great point.
Right?
That's a great point.
So it's like just knowing in that moment that like this is like temporary, and just really sticking with that and meditating on that. Like, even no matter how much it pisses you off, just like stand firm on that. This is temporary. I think a lot of problems like in life could be solved. Because if you I feel like you're already doing this, you just haven't maybe worded it in this way. But like, if you in this kind of like moment of maybe like stress or worry or just overthinking, maybe you probably won't like to describe it as that.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think it's maybe just overthinking a bit. If during this time you allowed your overthinking to get to you, and like you pulled all your money from the bank, or you said like, let's sell our house. I don't know. That's dramatic, right. But you get the point, right? Like that would have like permanent consequences.
Yeah.
But rather instead, you're just like, this is going to pass.
Yeah. Well, I'll actually I'll piggyback off of what you're saying, but dial it back to more reality than like selling the house or whatever. But, you know, with what's going on, it would be very easy for me to get into an argument with anybody at this point.
Yeah, true.
You know, I'll use my wife as an example because she's the one that I'm around the most. The way I am now, the way I feel right now, I know an argument can easily ensue because, you know, maybe she keeps, you know, opening and closing the cupboard door too loud, and then I flip out. Like that's how things start sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? As simple as that.
Yeah.
But I am constantly telling myself that nobody else has nothing to do with this. So, you know, don't take it on anybody else. And I'm very mindful of it right now.
Yeah.
That's something that I can't say that I've practiced in the past.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I never thought of it until right now that we're talking.
That's what I'm saying. I just did this today. So we're both grew today.
Right. So in past now, if I get like this, everybody's feeling the wrath of Jason Sadler.
Okay.
Like that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I am okay. All right, let's go. So, so thinking about it now, my journey of forgiveness also involves I know there's a saying out there and a cliche, what would Jesus do?
Yeah. I
know there's that's in a jokey way out there, but I can tell you, I have literally been practicing that for a little while now.
Oh, wow.
Like, so when I get into a mode or whatever, it's okay. What would Jesus do? How would he react to this? What would be his response? And then as soon as I do that, I find myself simmering down real fast and not forcing myself to simmer down. It just happens. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when I'm getting a little annoyed with anybody around me, I'm like, Jay, what would Jesus do?
Wow.
And that's what's getting me through not blowing up and making it worse than it needs to be. Like you said, having longer consequences attached to it.
Yeah.
Right? How many of us out there are in bad moods all the time or a shitty day or whatnot, and we take it out on everybody else around us? I'm going to go ahead and say 100% of us do that.
Yeah.
So this is my process now of trying to, you know, be better at understanding what's going on. What would Jesus do?
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like looking at that as a kid being like, it's so corny, but it's actually like one of the biggest bars of all time.
Yeah. And I always took it as like a joke, not a joke, but you know what I mean?
You saw those bracelets, right? Like WWJD.
Or a t-shirt or whatever. Yeah. And it wasn't, you know, I feel like what I was looking at was not done for spiritual reasons. I feel like what I was looking at was being done for gimmick. The way the artistry would look or whatnot. So, but anyway, I'm rambling.
It's our podcast. We can ramble.
Amen. So yeah, that's kind of the attitude that I've taken on, and it's helping me. And there's another reason why I know that it's going to pass sooner than later, because I'm not adding anything to escalate it.
Yeah. You're not spiraling in any kind of way.
Yeah. Which also means the devil's not winning.
Amen.
Right?
That's right.
Which is really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
That conversation was actually just helped me.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Same.
Yeah.
I thought of something in my head, like, okay, something happened this morning, and like God kind of just like gave me like a picture of like what this can mean. So almost like the idea of like worry or stress, or just think of like a negative emotion, right? This is what happened in my apartment. Okay. So we have these like tiny little ants in our kitchen. They're not like,
everybody has them.
Okay, but it's like,
oh, it's bad.
Yeah, it's not like regular like black ants. They're like super, super tiny, and they're like light brown. Okay. So I'm like, hey, this is like
bunch of half-breed ants in your house.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they are. So, and I was seeing them all over the counter, and I was like, okay, like, you know, whatever. This is crazy. And then I was opening drawers and finding them, and then I found the place where they were coming from, and it was like out from like the wall cracks. So I'm like, oh my god, like this is so annoying. So I bought ant traps, right, just to set up and set around. And then this morning, I pour water for myself, and there's an ant in my water, and I'm like, oh, like how rude! This is disgusting. How dare an ant like come into my glass? I'm like, this is so gross. I dump on my glass. I'm like, okay, put that in the dishwasher. I grab another glass, pour myself some more water, go sit down, and there's an ant in this glass.
Wow. And
I was like, wait, no. I go into the water jug. The water jug has just dead ants at the bottom of it the water jug. And I was like, huh, like, this is the most disgusting thing ever. I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, so, I'm trying to think of like, best case scenario. I'm like, okay, so, maybe through the Brita, like they went through the spout and like, climbed down. And then, they died in the water. Like, it's probably not actually, like, in the filter. Okay. I open, like, the top of it, and there's just ants crawling everywhere in it. I'm, like, so disgusted saying this. And, like, literally, like, who am I? Like, am I a hoarder? Like, this is just so bad. Like, this is so disgusting. I keep a clean house. So, I see all these ants, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, how long has this been here for? Because last night I thought I saw a crumb in my water, but now I'm thinking back, I'm like, that was probably an ant.
Oh, right.
And I'm like,
protein, you're good.
Oh my god. Oh. So that's literally how I had to talk myself off the ledge today. It's okay. There's people that eat crickets. It's totally normal. It's fine. Yeah. But I was like, I actually had a moment where I was like, this is just the strangest story. Like, I'm like, what does this mean, God? I'm like, this is a picture of something, like, I don't know, but I literally feel like that's almost a picture of it now, where it's like what we do, like let's say the negative emotion, whatever it is, stress, worry, anger, fear. We can like see it like on like the surface level, and we might think it's like not a big deal. But like sometimes, like, if you're not dealing with it on that surface level, you don't realize like literally where it's infesting in like the water jug, like the most important thing. So that to me just like painted like such a clear picture, because it's like you think, oh, okay, I'm Jason and I'm pissed and I'm going through this, and like everyone has to feel the wrath of Jason or whatever. But even not on the side you're on now, like, I'm cool, whatever. But it's like, if you don't like deal with that and deal with what you're going through in like a positive way, like you're saying, like what would Jesus do? What is it affecting that like you're not even seeing? What is it poisoning that you're not even seeing?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it trickles. Like you said, so many of us have bad days, and then we take it out on like the people we love, and you think it's no big deal, right? And normally, like, you get past it and stuff, but you don't know how you affected that person.
Yeah.
What if 2 years down the line, like what you said in that moment brings them to a bad spot? You don't know.
Yeah. And I'll piggyback off that again. Yeah. I would actually go ahead and say that, whatever you say to your spouse or your loved one, you'll probably get over it, and the chances of it affecting them down the road as much are probably slimmer, although very possible. But what I will say is that what happens when you take it on road, and you have an interaction with somebody at the grocery store, or the bank, or on the road, or wherever, and you say something to them, and you're never going to see them again, so it could be 40 times worse.
Yeah, you don't know what they're going through.
You'll never find out what that did to that person later on, right?
Wow.
Ever.
Wow, that's true.
At least with your loved one, you hopefully get a chance to talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah,
right? Apologize and go through that whole thing. But for the people that you don't know, who knows what it did for them?
Yeah.
Who knows what they were dealing with before your altercation, and your altercation sent them over the edge.
This happened to me once before. Like I had a watch from Guess, and something was like wrong with like the links, right? And I go to the lady, and I'm like, yeah, like this, this part doesn't work. And she just like gave me so much attitude. She's like, it works. And I was like, no, like it doesn't. And like in that moment, like I couldn't figure it out, but it's like she wasn't being nice to me. Like she was actually being like really mean to me, and like she didn't believe me like with what I was saying. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like this works. And like I don't know what had happened and why I was like so upset, but her speaking to me in that way, like literally like made me cry later. Like it I don't know, I don't even remember why, but like it ruined like a couple of days for me because I was just like so affected and I guess just in a little bit of a bad place. And I was like, wow, okay, like how you treat someone like that, like really like, wow. You never know what someone is going through.
Yeah, you're not a sensitive person like that.
No, so. I'm not. I think I was just having like a bad week or something. But I think it also took me like off guard. I'm definitely that person, like when I'm caught off guard, like I kind of freeze. Okay. And then later I'm like, oh damn, I would have said this, that.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. We all do that.
But I think I freeze a little bit more than the regular person, to be honest. I'm definitely like the flight or fright thing, like whatever. I definitely freeze. You know? So I think just being so caught off guard, like I don't think I've ever had a customer service person speak to me so rudely. Like she was really rude.
Okay.
Yeah. And it just threw me off.
You wouldn't do well in Jamaica then.
No. No. Well, you know what's funny? I think because I just know what to expect. See, I'm not caught off guard.
Yeah, right. You did.
You
say
know
that.
What to expect
yeah,
when you're going in to guess. You know, there's, you know, you expect something, or you know, any other place besides a Jamaican establishment. You're expecting hello, how are you?
Yeah.
Kindness. Jamaican establishments, you know.
Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah. One time in Jamaica, actually, I went in and like the lady just like stared at me. I wasn't alone. Like I was with other Jamaicans, and the lady just like we went and she just like stared at us, and I'm like,
she's waiting for she's waiting for you to tell her what you want.
Like, do we say something? Yeah. And it's like I don't think she said one word to us like the entire time. I'm like, all right, no problem.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your process now? So, you know, you've been feeling this way, you know, you're going through a season right now.
Yeah.
What's your process now?
Well, I think other than this, like today was just like a crabby mood. I don't think I've been going through like a crabby season. I think the season I've been going through is like, maybe just like a bit more like doubtful and like maybe more worried than like I usually am. I think I usually have like a bit more faith and I'm like a bit more positive. And lately I've just been a bit more like, okay, well I should be like realistic and like, is this really going to happen? And like, you know, maybe like just a bit more down on myself and down on life. My process has been like, firstly, it took me a while to realize like, okay, what I'm feeling like isn't going to be temporary. Because I think I scared myself a bit, like, oh my God, like what's wrong with me now? Like, do I just like not have faith? Am I like changing as a person? Am I like not as just kind of spiraling a bit, thinking that like this is the new me or something? I'm like, no. Like this happens to everybody. This is human. This is natural. So that took me like a while to get to. And I feel like the process is almost like day by day. Living more like in the moment. Because I'm that type of person that's definitely thinking like 5 months ahead.
Right.
If not 5 years. Like I'm just always thinking, okay, what's next? Like, so trying to just chill out more in the moment. Right? Why are you laughing at me?
Because I want to say something, but I'm like, maybe he's not. But
what? Just say it.
I just want to. Because when you said you're thinking about like 5 months down the road, and that I don't know why, but like the conversation about triplets came into.
No, but this is literally. I think this is where this thought stemmed from, which is the idea that like, okay, what if I do have a child in the next like year or so?
Yeah. Like,
I think somehow it's just like my faith just went, oh no, it's not possible. We don't have money. Like we're in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like how is this possible? It's like literally like, okay, Carissa, like who are you? Like I thought you had faith. Like I thought you believed in God. Like what's wrong? What's going on?
Right.
But that's literally the exact. That's you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
I'm like, so what if I do have kids like in the next like year? Like we're not in that position. TK needs a new job. Like I need to make money. Like can I even take mat leave? Like who do I think I am trying to start a business? Like I should get a better paying job. Like all these kind of like spiraling negative thoughts. But it's kind of been like this for maybe like it feels like a couple weeks.
See, so you and I are in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
Right. See, exact same spot, because that's literally what I'm going through myself. You know, I'm thinking about next year and you know, and if the economy goes away where it can go, and I'm not bringing in the same money I was bringing in, like, what's that going to look like? What's my lifestyle going to look like? This is stuff I'm thinking about now. I never think about this stuff, like, ever, right?
I was living your best life.
Yeah. So, and even in times where, you go through a time where you're not making money because it's just that time or whatever, I've never worried about it then.
Yeah.
So why am I doubting it now? Why am I questioning it now?
Yeah.
That's exactly where I am.
This is me too, because someone can tell me, like, hey, I'm starting a business and I have no money and I'm going to mortgage my house a second time, and I can look at them dead in the face like, I believe God's going to provide a miracle for you. Yes. And I believe it 1,000%.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, so then Carissa, when it comes to yourself, apparently you're tripping balls. Like, what's the problem here? Like,
It's interesting that we're both going through the same thing.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah, now that we talk about it.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, this is the first time. And what killed me is when Duke said to me, she goes, "So should I feel bad because I don't have anything on my mind?" I just kind of looked at her with this big smile on my face. No, you don't have to feel bad about that. That's how you're supposed to feel. Yeah. That's exactly how you should be living. That's how I've been living for the last 17 years or 20 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'll get there again.
Yeah.
I just have to get past this.
I think it's all like a mental thing, because it's like, if we actually look at like circumstances and stuff, it's like everything's fine.
Oh my gosh. All right. So check this out.
Okay.
So, we're sitting here talking right now, and as we're talking, I'm also having an internal conversation with myself throughout the whole time. That's, my brain's really weird that way.
I think that's everyone's.
Is it? Oh,
maybe.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Like, we're having a conversation, and I'm having another conversation with myself the whole time.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So here we are now, and I'm asking myself while we're talking, I'm like, so what have I done differently in the last little while? What's changed? What was I doing that I wasn't doing? What am I doing new now that I wasn't doing before?
Yeah.
And the answer just came to me.
Okay.
Now I know why I'm going through this.
Okay.
I actually stopped talking to God.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I'd be like, thanks for today. Thanks for the opportunity. You're amazing. I love you. I worship you. Amen. Like, that's the extent of my conversation with him. Or that's exactly what it is, Carissa.
Wow.
And you know why I know this now? Well, besides the fact that I know it.
Okay.
I've started to talk to him in the last couple of days. And my last couple of days is when it started to change. I'm not fully out of it, but it's definitely changed. For example, let me give you an example.
Okay.
So yesterday, it was a relatively quiet day, so I started to worship.
Okay.
And what did I tell you was one of the main things that I was kind of thinking about and stressing about? Not stressing about, but I feel weaker on. What we just finished talking about it, the finances.
Yeah.
Right. Quiet day. All of a sudden, while I was worshiping, bing, bloop, bing, bing, 4 emails came up of money that just came in. Right. So, but I didn't see it until after I finished. I can hear my emails going off, but I'm in my thing. I'm with God. Yeah. Remember I said to you a message and I said, I've been with God all day today.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all coming back to me now. Okay. I didn't realize it until right now.
Wow. Welcome to therapy. It's a podcast. This is therapy for us.
No, this is the process with God. Like this is it again in real life. But we're talking it out, live, I guess. Where I haven't talked it out and made it make sense, and then come back later on and then press play and then talk about don't leave God. They're actually seeing it play out, going from living your best life to like in this fog of you don't know what's going on to questioning everything. And that was the difference. I stopped talking to God. And as soon as I started again, all the stuff that I'm thinking about, he's answering it.
Wow.
God is good.
So apparently I do have internal conversations in my head too, because now I know why I'm going through this. Okay. It just hit me.
All right.
Well, firstly, for yours, it's just wow. It's just crazy how we don't realize that we're not talking to God until we realize that we're not talking to God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just crazy.
Well, before you start, I'll tell you, I think I had a moment of just taking it for granted. So me just, thank you, God, for waking me up. Thank you for the day. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my loved ones and friends. Amen.
Yeah.
I started to take for granted that would be enough.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Because normally, like I talked to him, like conversations we're having.
Yeah.
And then I just started to do that for like a few weeks now. I've been doing that.
Wow.
Anyway.
Whew. This literally feels like a therapy session. Wow. Okay, well, for me, did you ever Scott ever talk to you through people over and over and over again? It's just like, wow, okay, so now you're finally getting it kind of thing. Anyways, past 2 months, TK's literally been on my ass every single day. Why aren't you working out? And I'm like, can you just leave me alone? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to work out, I promise. And I'm like, why aren't you working out? Why aren't you working out? And I'm just like, I mean, the reality is just it's just been so hard for me to just get back into it. And
for those of you, to put some context behind this so that you don't think that, TK does not like her physical form for what it is. He's a personal trainer. He works at a gym. That's his lifestyle. That's his mentality. Yeah. He's like me that way. So yeah, I needed to put that up.
Well, he's not a personal trainer, but sure. Yeah, we can go with that. I like that. So, yeah, but TK also is just he's just big on working out, and he just knows how it can affect you. Definitely. So he's like, right. Why aren't you working out? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just been so hard for me. And it's been the past couple months since summer ended. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just can't do it. I don't know what my problem is. And then I'm looking back on things, and I'm like, okay, this kind of maybe funk for me or whatever. I don't want to say funk. Maybe just this kind of negative thinking for me. It's been maybe cloud. Yeah. The past maybe couple weeks. It's been that, but I would honestly say since the beginning of quarantine, mid-March, I've felt just not fully myself. And I think that's fine because it's just there were so many life changes, right? You're not going to work anymore. I experienced a lot of stress and life changes this year, getting married and stuff like that too. Getting an apartment. Yeah, I think I just having grace with myself, knowing, okay, a lot of things happened this year, right? But in terms of just me, always just feeling kind of clear-minded and just not as stressed, not as and just more motivated. That's when I stopped working out. And I tried to get back into it in the summer. But then whatever, this happened and that happened. I got married, another job, whatever. It's just it just took a back seat. And then when you just, I don't know, you probably don't know this, but when you just don't work out for a long time, the hardest part about working out is starting to work out.
Why do you think I don't stop?
Yeah, exactly.
That is the reason that I don't stop.
Yeah. It's really really, really hard because once you get started, you're like, okay, we're here. Yeah. And you remember how amazing it feels. Yeah. But for me, see, it's clicking now. What was so hard for me getting back into working out was realizing I think I'm physically the weakest I've ever been in my life right now. And it's so demotivating, not being able to do anything. I'm oh my God, I used to be able to lift this much or do this much or whatever. Right. Because even when I wasn't working out for a long time, I had something physical going on. I did whatever cheerleading in high school, stuff like that. So now every time I try to work out, I just give up. I'm so demotivated. I'm what's the point? I can't even do this anymore. And I'm realizing now that not having that such an important part to your health, that checkbox checked, I think is really not clearing my mind at all. It's really starting to affect my mind.
Yeah, well, physical activity is what gets the blood going, which gets the oxygen going, which gets everything else going. And yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir on that one.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just kind of pissed because I'm I don't want to work out. Yeah. But it's like, wow, TK's really been yelling at me for like 2 months. And I feel like he's probably took this to God and prayed, like, make her want to work out, because now it's just like kind of clicking with me. Like, it's like you already know, okay, yes, it can make your life better, like mentally and stuff. But I think when you can directly relate it, like with your heart and stuff, it's like, I don't know, it's just clicked with me.
But you said it yourself. You said it that the hardest one is that first day. So why not just go the one day and then you know you're going to be back into it again after that?
Well, because I was like, before I stopped working out because of like quarantine, the gym's like closing down, I was going like really consistently. So my body, I think, was actually in the best shape it's ever been, to now like the worst shape I feel like it's ever been. So like, I don't know, I think I just put too much pressure on myself, or hold like myself to like too high of a standard where I'm like, I immediately want to be back to like where I was.
Right.
So it's like, it's not only the first day that's hard, it's going to be the first couple weeks. But it's like, now that I'm saying it here and now that I'm telling you, like, I kind of have no choice, because now there's going to be more people that are going to be annoying me.
Yeah, well, I think the good thing is that there's a goal.
Yeah.
Like, you say you want to be back to where you were, so you can, and just, that's a goal, and strive for that goal. Hey, if that doesn't get the juices going, when you set a goal for yourself and you achieve that goal, or your journey to achieve that goal doesn't get the juices going, then what will? That would be equivalent to, I have a goal to learn how to forgive and get bitterness out of my heart. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that journey. I'm excited so that's why I took that first step. The same thing with you. You take the first step and you just go to the gym. You know what's going to happen after that. You have a goal and set the wheels in motion again. I don't know. It almost sounds like it might be God talking to you to just go do that. And then
1,000%.
And then when you do that, then, things are going to start changing internally inside of you, which is going to change externally, which is going to get you back on the path that you need to get put on.
Yeah. 1,000%. But when you just like hear a solution, you're just like, I don't like this one.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's how I'm feeling.
Why do you think I'm doing like a 12-week forgiveness thing? Yeah. Because I can't do it in the first 11.
Oh, we're so annoying. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this was just a huge moment of clarity for me.
Yeah,
wow.
Me too, actually. Yeah. Actually.
So to answer your question, what's your process? This right here. Just, I think, talking it out, actually. Yeah.
And I think keeping it real. It's one thing to talk it out, and you can talk it out and fake it and tell yourself things that are not actually true because you're trying to mask whatever it is that needs to come out.
Yeah.
But I think if you keep it real, talk it out, well, only good things can happen.
Yeah. Amen. Well, this was a lot. I don't think I was expecting this at all.
Well, we sat here and we're like, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I don't think we ever need to worry about that problem again.
No, that's for sure.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say.
I'm good.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Always.
Love you guys.
Deuces.
Peace. Guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Listen, if you know someone that can benefit from this episode, we are asking you to please send it over to them. We would love for them to hear it. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Carissa and Jason, and over on YouTube at Real Talk with Carissa and Jason.